His name is Jamie Haase. He's a former special agent with the U.S. government. He worked on the border in Laredo, Texas. And in 2011, after 10 years of service, to become fully involved in the marijuana legalization movement, please join our next speaker, Jamie Haase.
Right.
Take it away.
Thank y'all. Thank everybody for coming out. Before I get started, I want to put on my special NORML bling. There we go. NORML special agent. I'm a little different than most speakers. Like Greta said, I resigned from the government after 10 years. My career started in Charleston at a seaport, inspecting cargo coming from Europe and the Middle East. That's kind of why I got into law enforcement. From then it expanded to drug enforcement. I became a special agent for ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, in Baltimore, Maryland. In 2009, the Obama administration decided they needed to start ramping up the border, the situation in Mexico. I was one of, I don't know, a couple hundred agents that actually volunteered, and I went to Laredo, Texas. That's when I really opened my eyes about marijuana, cannabis sativa, and the violence. It's 60,000, 70,000 people who are killed, who've been killed in just 6 years alone. When you work on that border and you seize drugs, you see the amount of cannabis that's coming in. The government warehouses there are so packed. Mexican cartels earn 60 to 70% of their profits from marijuana alone. There's a lot of misconceptions, especially in this area in the southeast. I'm a speaker for Law Enforcement Against Prohibition now, LEAP, and I do a lot of, speeches at civic clubs, Rotary clubs, things like that. There's a lot of misconception that these Mexican cartels are, we're making money from cocaine, methamphetamines, heroin. Of course they are. There's some, but the bulk, the elephant in the room, is cannabis. That's their bread and butter is marijuana. People here in the U.S. a lot of times, say marijuana from Mexico is crap, it's brick weed and all that. It doesn't matter. Here in the southeast, we don't go buy marijuana looking for a made in USA tag. You buy the easiest stuff to get, and it gets the job done. So, we need to help Mexico in this crisis. Again, picture that 70,000 people have been killed in 6 years. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Javier Cecilia and the peace caravan that is taking place right now across the country. It kicked off in San Diego in August, and it's finishing up in Washington, D.C. I was with that caravan last week in Atlanta, Georgia, and was very moved by the victims, especially one mother. We went to Fort Benning, Georgia. Fort Benning is where the School of the Americas is located. The U.S. government and our military, Department of Defense, has trained numerous killers from Latin America there. We've taught them how to execute, to torture, and they've gone back to South and Central America and carried out those deeds. Back in the day, that was, in the name of communism, but the Cold War is over. So anyways, I was with the victims there. Los Zetas, 31 of the original members of Los Zetas, 1/3 of the 31 original members of Los Zetas trained at School of America. So we trained them in their tactics. That was the point of going there. One of the victims, I won't forget, she was probably about 45 years old. She was squeezing my hand, telling me her story. Her daughter was abducted, kidnapped, raped multiple times over a 2-week, 3-week period, and then decapitated. So I have this woman basically screaming for help, squeezing my hand. They need a break. Mexico needs some help. We need revenues here. We need to take this harmless plant off the table as far as prohibition goes. Help that government and do common sense. We're better than that. We're more humane than that. So President Obama's tried to ignore it. He won't address it. Now Yahoo last week in Tampa, I don't know what he's doing. He definitely doesn't want to talk about marijuana. This gentleman right here is where it's at, right here. Give it up for this guy. So, he's the man. So, I'll step down here.